Welcome to Food and Loathing, and for newcomers, no, this is not a podcast about hating yourself for eating too much, although I do believe there's a book called Food and Loathing that addresses that issue. This podcast, however, is a food podcast about dining in the land of Hunter S. Thompson, the unnecessarily excessive, unapologetically ostentatious, and inevitably intoxicating playground of the world, Las Vegas, Nevada. This is a place where foodies and food professionals get together and talk about what they're eating and what they're thinking. Sometimes we make sense, other times not so much, but that's okay. That's what podcasts are, I believe. Anyway, we have a nice group of people gathered today for that conversation, in person and pre-recorded. I'm Al Mancini. I write about food. I publish the Neon Feast Dining Guide, which also publishes the Food and Loathing news site, not nude site. You don't want that. News site.
Or do you?
Well, not if I'm on it. No, you do not want a nude site that way. Anyway, we have our own news site. Gemini Stevens, editor-in-chief. She usually co-hosts with me, but she's not here today. So we have our good friend and one of my regular dining partners, Don Chareunsy of VegasPublicity.com. I'm sure I mispronounced his name. He'll tell you how to do it right. He's keeping Gemini's chair warm. We are coming to you today from Butcher and Thief. And this is right, of course, in the Bend, which is just an awesome, awesome area. It's blowing up right now, and we'll talk a bit about that later. We've been invited in to Butcher and Thief by my friend, chef owner Cory Harwell. Welcome, everybody. How you guys doing today?
Great, Al. Thank you for having me.
Don, how you doing?
Fantastic.
You're being all quiet, waiting for somebody to call your name over there?
Something like that.
Oh, God. So, yeah. Oh, look at this. Food's already starting to arrive.
Oh, yeah. We're not wasting any time.
I know, but there's no cutlery or anything, so we'll wait for that. But, hey, Cory, tell us what just showed up while we're here.
So we starting out with a hamachi crudo. We've got some fresh sliced hamachi, a little jicama, some pickled jalapenos, pickled Fresnos, and then we do a nice little yuzu soy sauce for this. Just very fresh, very crisp. Vibrant, a little bit of spice, a little bit of sweetness, the natural sweetness of that fish. Just a wonderful dish.
You brought this out to me at the bar the first time I was in here, and of course you see the hamachi, you know there's a ponzu, you know there's some stuff, and you're like, okay, that's the classic Nobu Matsuhisa dish that's been around. Yours looked really heavily dressed when I saw it, and I was like, oh man, I'm gonna have to tell Cory you put too much shit on this. It's gonna make him mad. I mean, I remember the first day you guys opened Carson Kitchen, and I'm like, Cory, is this how you meant it to come out?
That's right.
But then
I think it was the oxtail risotto. You weren't a fan of that initially.
Well, I don't think it came out the way it was supposed to.
It was not correct.
Anyway, but I saw this. I was worried about it, but it is great.
Thank
you.
you.
The quality of the fish when I had it last time shines through, and I'm going to take a bite right now.
Jump in.
I'm going to see how that all shines through with everything. Don, help yourself. Cory,
Okay.
Don, your
please.
food, so. Oh, yeah. There you go. Little bit of heat. Ponzu's great, but you can still really, really taste the hamachi, and that's fantastic. We also now have some cheesesteak egg rolls being dropped, which this is always a fun dish when people
I'll tell you, this has been our best seller since we opened. We've been open 3 weeks now, and we've sold out of these more often than not. In fact, we had to up our prep order for them. They're flying out of here, and it's just really it's all the trimmings from our steaks. So you got a little ribeye, a little New York strip, all the meats that we're bringing in, all of that trimming we're using in the cheesesteak egg rolls, and then we do. You know, you've heard me say this before. I think food should be opinionated. This jus that we dip the cheesesteak egg rolls in definitely has an opinion.
Yeah. So we're going to get into that, but first, man, I want to welcome Don. Because, Don, it has been a hot minute since you have done this, and we have not spoken about your day gig in a little while, which is over at VegasPublicity.com. Could you tell people about it, what it is you do over there, and what that publication's all about, and what you've been doing recently?
Sure. Well, VegasPublicity.com, we soft launched it in September, so we are 4 months old now. We cover everything you would expect in the entertainment capital of the world, you know, celebrities, food, nightlife, music, entertainment. There's definitely been a strong focus on culinary and food and entertainment. So it's been a very exciting time.
Now, when you and I met,
Yes.
you were working for Robin Leach, the late great Robin Leach,
Right.
and you worked with him hand in hand on a lot of stuff. Robin really knew this town well. He knew the food. He knew the entertainment. He knew just about anything that was happening in this town. And I think you're one of the people that's really carried on that tradition of just being a general Vegas entertainment. Let me tell you about what goes on in the coolest city of the world kind of journalists.
Well, thank you for saying that. I do consider myself continuing his legacy. I think one thing that what made Robin stand out and me too is we're not here to criticize people unless it's constructive. We want to boost Las Vegas, the entertainment scene, the culinary scene. So we're very much cheerleaders for Las Vegas. And Vegas publicity, it's a news source. But at the end of the day, you know, my MO has always been to be very positive and to support Las Vegas. And I'm continuing that.
Are you a bit of a smartass like Robin?
No comment.
No comment. No comment.
I will say I've certainly heard a lot of impressions of champagne wishes and caviar dreams over the years.
Yeah, right.
And I will say John Katzlaminas probably has the best one, but we also work together too, so
Yeah.
that probably helps.
Love Johnny Katz. Corey, man, you remember Robin. You were pretty close with Robin.
I was, yeah. I mean, Robin and I spent a lot of time together, and he and Carrie were so close. They were such good friends, and yeah, I miss Robin dearly.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so here's the deal. If people are new to this thing, well, I don't know how we got you here, but thanks for coming, for being new to this thing. We've got a great show planned. In about 20 minutes, we're really going to talk to Corey about this beautiful steakhouse where we're recording this show. We're going to talk more about it. Corey, what are these new dishes? Tell us.
A couple new ones out. This is our blackberry and burrata salad. This really comes from my wife and I love to travel. We were in Morocco last year. It was our first time touching down on the African continent. And we're sitting at a little cafe in Casablanca and eating local almonds, a little soft cheese, and some grapes. And I just thought, you know, it's such a great bite of food. I can't wait to turn this into a salad. So we came home, and Chef Scott and I sat down and started working on this. And so this is a fresh burrata, a lavender-spiced almond, some grapes, some blackberries, and a little basil vinaigrette. Over to the side here, this is a little bit of a throwback. So I don't know if you remember this, but about 10, 12 years ago, Carrie and I opened a place at the Hard Rock in Chicago.
Yeah.
And when Scott and I were doing the menu for that restaurant, I said, we need a soup. It's Chicago. It's cold. It's windy. We got to have a soup on the menu. And he says, well, what kind of soup do you want to do? I said, you know, my favorite has always been clam chowder. So let's do a great clam chowder. He says, okay, what kind? And I'm like, oh, man. I said, you know what? I'm partial to New England, but I really appreciate a really well-made Manhattan. So let's combine the two, and let's add a little Chicago spicy Italian sausage, and let's make our own style. So this is what we call Chicago clam chowder, and it really is being received well.
Okay, so we're going to be trying that in just a minute. I want to tell people that when Corey refers to Carrie, we're talking, of course, about the late great Carrie Simon, who was a partner with Corey in opening up Carson Kitchen, and they worked together at quite a few other restaurants. And that, of course, is how I met Corey, because Carrie was a fantastic guy. We're going to get all into that first, but first. You know, again, we've got Corey in 20 minutes. I've got an interview with Chef Tyler Vorce of Lilli. I've got an interview with John Arakaki of St. Felix. All that stuff's coming up in the news. But first, this is what we do. The three of us do a lot of eating in restaurants, and we tend to have strong opinions about where we've been dining. I like to hear about it. Hopefully you guys do too. And I'm going to start with my fellow journalist, Don Chareunsy. And before I ask him to dish the dirt, no, we actually just had him talk about VegasPublicity.com. So now, Don, let's talk about where you've been eating, man. Have you had a good meal recently that you just want to tell people about?
So it's January 7th.
Yeah.
You know, this is the calm after the holiday storm. Although I don't know who says that, because I've already had 3 or 4 events this year. But
yeah, there's no calm. It goes holidays, then it goes porn, CES, then it goes Super Bowl, and then it goes March Madness. I mean, we just roll fucking through, you know.
Well, I don't know if this counts, but I'm going to say it anyway. So I ended 2025 on a really wonderful note. I went to Liam's Den and Bubble Bar in the Venetian.
Nice.
I was invited by my good friend, pastry chef Karis Kuwana, who, if she's involved in anything, I'm there. Just a wonderful person, a wonderful chef. And, now that I'm at a certain age, I don't need the nightclubs. I don't need the vibe dining restaurants. I just want a great meal with great friends. And it was the perfect vibe. She worked with Kevin Bryant, and they had an amazing prime rib station. They had the desserts, they had seafood, and obviously champagne. So that was a great way to end 2025 and start the new year. But one meal that really sticks out in December, looking at December, and you've already mentioned him, was Tyler Vorce and Lilli. I'm such a big fan of Durango Social Club and what Dan Cromer is doing there.
I love Durango Social Club.
Me too. And just meeting Tyler, I've been honest about this. I'm actually going to say this out loud, even though maybe it's not great as a journalist. Obviously, food, the menu, all the preparation is really important. But I also fall in love with the story and the people, and that factors into it. Like, if you're a good person, if you have great family recipes, then you know what, your prime rib doesn't need to be perfect. But because it's made with heart,
right.
And that factors into it. And the thing that struck me about Tyler and Lilli is it's a return to like the basics. You don't need to put 20 ingredients into an item. Keep it simple, fresh, and honest. And so I'm such a fan of Tyler's and Dan Cromer and Durango Social Club. So I will go back there over and over and over again.
I would say that everything at Durango Social Club is simple, fresh, and honest, whether you're getting a smash burger from In Limbo or whether you're getting Toddy Shop, the little Indian bar by Hemant, whether you're getting Dan Cromer himself cooking. The difference between, say, In Limbo and Toddy Shop and Tyler Vorce is it is still that fine dining technique and that fine dining setup that Tyler does as a tasting menu. And, he has French Laundry experience and
Right.
he really knows what the fuck he's doing. So not only does he get the absolute best ingredients, but he treats them with the care that really needs to be done, because you've got to buy the good ingredients, but you got to know what to fucking do with them, right?
Right.
It's great to hear you guys talk about this, because I'm such a fan of Dan's. Ever since he opened Other Mama, I think he was opened a year after we opened Carson Kitchen. And I love his food. I love his approach to food, his approach to flavors. You said it. He is an honest cook. I think he is true to who he is in every dish that he puts out, and I'm just a huge fan. I love what he's doing over there.
Yeah, I absolutely do as well. Any place else you want to give a shout out to?
It's been a little bit of a minute, but still new. I really had a great experience at High Stakes at the Rio.
Yeah.
James Trees. He gets a lot of praise, but I think he deserves it. I've really enjoyed his restaurants. I think there's so much competition for steakhouses in this city. I love Jose Andres and Bazaar Steak. That was phenomenal. But with High Stakes, it was an experience. And then you get the view.
Yeah.
Kudos to him. But
And it is nice because it's got that game meat section, which you don't find in a lot of other places.
Yeah.
And it is also, I don't know, sometimes I try to compare prices, see how things compare, but prices change so quickly on the Strip. But it's especially worth saying, because we're sitting here right now in a very value-conscious steakhouse, I would say High Stakes is value-conscious for the top of a casino. Right?
100%. Yeah, for a strip restaurant, which I absolutely consider that being, he's done a great job of managing a strip level experience with an approachable cost factor.
Right. But it is still, expect to spend some money when you go out there.
Yeah, of course.
And then you should, because it's great food, it's great people. But you are doing things here in the suburbs that are a little different, and we will be talking about that in a second. What'd you have when you were at High Stakes, Don?
the prime rib.
The prime rib. I didn't do that.
Lots of fantastic cocktails.
I like the lots added in
A
there.
lot. There were a lot.
Therefore, he can't remember the rest of the eight.
Yeah. It was just. The service was spot on. Everything was just perfect. I feel really lucky. I'm not hypercritical, but I have high standards. Mm-hmm. But when I say something is perfect, not a false note, I say that surprisingly more often than I think I would.
Yeah, That's awesome. Hey, Cory.
Yes.
You just cut up a little bit of one of the weirdest dishes on your plate. I know
I
it
did.
goes over very, very well. It's not an Al Mancini dish.
Yep.
I think there's too much going on for my personal taste, but I recommended it to people already because I know it's their taste.
I appreciate that.
And when I say that, what I'm talking about is peanut butter and jelly bacon.
That's right. Yeah.
Tell me about this.
This
as
is
I take my bite.
straight out of left field. I was intrigued years ago. I had read that Elvis loved peanut butter, banana, and bacon sandwiches. And I thought, that is so odd. Let me try it. Mm-hmm. And the idea of peanut butter with bacon together, that sweet, that smoky, that salty, it just worked. So I've been wanting to do this dish for a while. I wasn't sure if it was a Carson Kitchen dish. And then obviously when we were kind of putting the final touches on Butcher and Thief, I thought, that big, thick butcher cut bacon is the right way to go with this dish. Mm-hmm. So this is what we call peanut butter bacon. We take a peanut butter caramel that we make. We add a little bit of rice wine vinegar, a little miso. We glaze the bacon with that, hit it on the grill, and then top that with a jalapeno and cucumber jelly. And it's got so much going on. You're right. There is a lot there. But for the adventurous eater, I think this is absolutely something they should give a go.
This is the praise that I'll give it, and the praise is part of the reason that it's not a dish for me. The bacon is so motherfucking good at the base of this dish that when I eat the meat, I'm like, oh, man, they got that great jam on there, and they got this, and all this other stuff is really, really, really good.
Yeah.
But I find myself just wanting like that pure flavor of the meat.
You really could just take that plate and a couple pieces of bacon and put it out there and not call it anything other than just really well done Newski's bacon, and that's who we get it from. I mean, I don't know that there's a whole lot better than that.
Yeah. Don, did you have any place else, or are we moving on to where Cory's been dining? Take your time.
Sure.
Any place you got?
I'll do two quick things that are off the strip, just because I thought they were so great. I really enjoyed smoked barbecue. So, or is it smoky barbecue, smoked barbecue?
SMKD barbecue?
Yes.
Is that how they pronounce it?
Correct.
They spell it over there?
Correct.
Yes.
It's just nice to see Matt Meyer back on the scene. It's also nice to have.
I don't know if Matt is still with them.
No, because I think he's shifted into a new place.
Yeah, I think
that we
he
know
wants to
about.
do tasting menu stuff, right?
Right. But it's nice to have living in Henderson. It's nice to have solid barbecue in Henderson. And then the other thing, in Red Rock and Station Casinos has done this for a while. They've done pop-ups at Red Rock for pizza and Herbs Burgers and Hawaiian, and they just did one for Yababa Shawarma. It was fantastic. So I hope they find a brick and mortar in one of the properties or somewhere here soon.
Okay, awesome. Cory, we're moving on to you. We want to hear about where you've been dining. I know that chefs and restaurant owners spend so much time in their own motherfucking restaurants that you don't always get out to eat. I know a lot of people have been coming in here, a lot of chefs, right?
Yeah.
Every day I open up Facebook and it's like John Arena came in here.
Yeah,
or,
John and Brian Howard and Nicole was in just the other day. They've been wonderful in their support. Yeah, it's been nice.
But do you get a chance to get out to dine? That's the question what it's going to be. But before, tell us about the sides that just arrived.
Couple new dishes came out. This is our Rockefeller cream spinach. I emphasize the word Rockefeller because my favorite spinach in the entire world comes in an Oysters Rockefeller.
Right.
The way that they treat that spinach with the Pernod and the Parmesan. And so I wanted to take that same approach, even including oyster liqueur in the dish. So you'll get
by oyster liqueur, you mean what comes out of the oyster.
That's correct.
You're not going to
no, not an oyster liquor.
That's
right. That's right.
Oyster flavored vodka or something.
And so this really kind of just harkens back to that great oyster Rockefeller feel and vibe. And then of course you can't have a steakhouse without a great mac and cheese. I've always loved the mac and cheese at Carson Kitchen. I've often said I thought it was the best in town, not because it was mine, but it really is a rich, creamy, wonderful mac. So this one was a challenge for me in coming up with a different flavor profile for the mac and cheese here at Butcher and Thief, and I'm really pleased with it, and I dare say I think it may actually be better than Carson Kitchen. It's got little notes of smoke in it, a little smoked Gouda, a little smoked cheddar, but just a really fantastic mac and cheese.
Damn. Okay. Well, cool. So now let's get back to my original question.
Yep.
Where have you, when you get the precious time with your family that you actually want to go out, or your friends or whomever, Where do you go, and what's really good right now?
So I loved that you brought up high stakes. I think what James does is just remarkable. He's the hardest working man in show business. I mean, he really and truly puts all of his heart and soul into all of his restaurants. And if you didn't see him there tonight, you'll see him there tomorrow night, because he gets to every single one of them more often than I think he absolutely would need to. So he's a hardworking guy, and I really appreciate and respect what he does. Love high stakes, love what they did up there. For me, over the last 6 to 8 weeks, I've been so inundated with opening this restaurant that getting out to some of the newer restaurants wasn't really quite possible because we were so busy. But with the holidays, I had friends and family in town. I was able to go to some of the restaurants that I really love to go to and go and support the friends in the industry. And I'm talking about Brezza at Resorts World with Nicole. What she does there, we had the great fortune of spending Christmas dinner at Brezza because we had 15 or 16 people, and I just didn't feel like cooking. We had just opened here 2 days prior to that. The last thing I wanted to do was cook for 16 people that were in town, and so Nicole was so gracious in hosting us. We had such a fantastic dinner there. Her octopus, absolutely off the charts, but what I loved, she does an eggplant Milanese that I thought was just so magically done. Just perfectly light yet crispy. Just a really fantastic dish.
Anybody have steaks while you were there?
Yeah, I think we did. Actually, we absolutely did. We did the Cape Grim ribeye. She's got the Tasmanian beef on the menu, and it really spectacular.
I mean, I think it's really important, and we don't talk about this much. I think it probably has more to do with casino politics and the fact that there's an absolutely fantastic steakhouse right next door to Brezza in Resorts World, and that's Carver Steak.
That's right.
We love Carver Steak. So we don't usually talk. We talk about Brezza as an Italian restaurant, but Nicole Bressone, who runs Brezza, ran Mario Batali's beef aging program.
She's the meat goddess.
She really is. And if you go there, getting a steak is also a good idea. Speaking of, you got steaks arriving.
We do. We have quite a few other things coming. Our approach to a dirty rice out of New Orleans. Little spicy sausage in there, and little andouille spiced rice. Little egg on top. A little nod to Dan Cromer and the egg that he did on his kimchi fried rice. That's why we did that. Our chicken thighs here. A little zabaton. So you guys may know this as a Denver steak. Comes from the shoulder of the cow. Zabaton is the Japanese word, stands for a little pillow. So what they're saying is this is that little pocket of muscle underneath all of those rough, tough shoulder muscles. And it is just a wonderful, soft and tender, yet incredibly beefy and steaky in flavor. I just think it's the quintessential kind of steak.
Awesome. Well, we're going to take a short break after we get through this early section. Then we're going to dig in, take a few more bites. Then we'll reconvene and we'll share our thoughts. Don, anything strike you so far that you've had?
I could listen to Cory talk about food for hours and hours and hours. That's all I have to say for now.
Okay.
I love that.
Any place else you want to give a shout out to, Cory?
Yeah, I love what Gina Marinelli does, and we're big fan. My wife and I are big fans of La Strega, so we go there quite often. Her grape and onion focaccia, I think, is one of the best breads in all of Las Vegas, and just a big fan of what she's doing.
Cool. Very cool, yes. You know, you had the pleasure of Nicole for Christmas. I had the incredible honor of being invited by Zach Allen and his lovely wife, Tanya, to their house 2 weeks before Christmas for their friends and family feast of
awesome.
7 fishes.
Yeah.
Nicole was one of the chefs there.
That's great.
Oh, man, it was
Tanya was just in the other night with Nicole, actually, sitting at the bar.
That's awesome, man. Okay, so my turn. This is going to be really, really quick. You may recall that I was under the weather last week, which made it a lot of fun for me to curse out people who annoyed me in 2025. By the way, one of those parking tickets I was bitching about to the city, here's the deal. I don't bitch like anymore, now that I'm more sober, I don't like go on rants and yell a lot more because, you know, as a journalist and a former lawyer, you always know you're going to get one little detail wrong and then it'll really be your fault. Right. And so the one thing that I do own is, you know, I'll tell people to go fuck themselves, but I will also apologize when I was wrong and the reason I wanted them to fuck themselves. Right. So Parking Authority Las Vegas, one of those tickets you gave me was my fault. I entered the thing incorrectly. So I'll live with that.
I love that you own it.
Still pain in the dick, but I'm still mad about the one for my registration sticker.
Yeah.
And I still want people from the city of Las Vegas to come on this show, maybe with James Trees and some people, and talk about parking down there. Cory, you've got to have an opinion on that.
The city needs to build some fucking parking garages. I mean, to try to max out the surface parking and what they're charging, it's $16 to park in the Arts District now. I mean, it's absolutely insane.
And as I said, I understand parking payment. I lived in New York for a very long time. Our deal was if you're rich enough to own a car, you're rich enough to fucking park. I realize Vegas is a little different, but that was my thing. Okay, so anyway, I rented it, and I was sick, and I was in bed most of the week, and I was cursing at people. Not a lot of places to tell you about food-wise. I had a bento box delivered from Pier 215 in the Southwest. Pretty good for a guy who was like only out of bed for 3 hours that day. I enjoyed that. Once I started recovering, we had plans with a friend, so I decided to stay close to home. We all went to Fiorella Pasta Bar in the Durango Resort. Did the mozzarella and carosa, we did the cacio e pepe, we did the fettuccine shrimp scampi, we did the butternut squash gnocchi with toasted oats and nuts and brown butter and sage, and so fucking good. Key things to remember, I talk about Mark Vetri and his restaurants a lot. I mean, I think he's a god. I think losing his restaurant at the Top of the Palms was probably the biggest loss for me of all of last year. But this is what you need to know. The place over in the Durango Resort. It's the most casual restaurant that Vetri has done in Las Vegas, but the food is still fucking fantastic. Number 2, it's located in the Eat Your Heart Out food court, but do not be dismayed. It has its own interior, pasta bar seatings, or booths and tables, so you could do that. Point 3, I always like to tell people this, mozzarella and carosa is an amazing dish. It's a fancy answer to mozzarella sticks, and if you can find it in a fucking restaurant, you should get it. I think in Italian it means mozzarella in a carriage, and it's really a mozzarella cheese sandwich that you then egg batter and fry the motherfucker, and this was more like a club sandwich that they do
like an Italian croque.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so that was absolutely great. And, butternut squash dish, really, really great. That's a classic flavor combination.
Sure.
But you don't see it that often in restaurants. And this was done really, really well. Beautifully light gnocchi. I loved it. That is about it for me. I'm going to be attending a party at Gymkhana this weekend, so I'm really looking forward to that. I'll have something to tell you about next week.
I do want to clarify one thing. You said you got to own it when you make a small mistake. I was reading through my notes so quickly. The eggplant Milanese is actually Gina's dish at La Strega. It was the bucatini alla amatriciana that I loved on Christmas night with Nicole. So I did want to clarify that.
Okay, yeah, because people go there, they want to order it.
Exactly. Don't go to Brezza and order Gina's Milanese. You're not going to get it.
She could probably make it for you.
Yeah, probably.
Just tell her it's Gina's Milanese.
That's right.
They do it for you.
They're friends.
Okay, so look, we're going to be back momentarily. We've coming up later in the show, we have news on a South Point lunch deal, Chef Tyler Vorce's plans for Valentine's Day, and another new restaurant here in the Bend, St. Felix. We also have a happy hour report with Andrew Morgan coming up. But first, we're going to take a nice little break. We're going to eat some of this food. We're going to come back, have a really long conversation with Cory Harwell about the opening of this very restaurant, Butcher and Thief. This is Food and Loathing. All right, we've been sitting here, we've been eating, the steak has been cut, the chicken has been cut, the pork has been cut, oh my God, Cory, that spinach, you're right, man, it is Oysters Rockefeller without the shell and the oyster,
Absolutely.
But it's so good, man.
Thank you.
Yeah, we're really enjoying this. Don, favorite?
So far, come back to me.
Okay.
John, wipe your mouth.
Not too.
I got to tell you, man, I'm really liking these cheesesteak egg rolls.
Yep.
Now, Of course, we've had them at many different places before.
Sure.
Barry Daycake used to make them for a
Yep.
long time. These are really, really high quality. You could tell that you're not using a Cisco delivered,
No.
fucking thing. Like this is, and neither was Barry, by the
Yeah,
way. But
yeah,
this
absolutely.
is really, really good stuff. I like it in a way. It reminds me of First Food and Bar used to do the Philly cheesesteak dim sum. No,
Yep.
not dim sum,
Yeah,
gyoza.
yep.
And that this kind of reminds me of that, man. It's really good. I like this dish.
Little Sammy D.
Yeah. Okay, so Cory, we've introduced you a little bit. We've mentioned that you're a longtime associate and partner of the great Carrie Simon.
Yep.
I should mention that as I walked in, I saw Carrie's brother, Scott Simon, and he's in the kitchen here right now.
He is, yeah. You know, Scott was with us at Simon at the Palms for years. And then when Carrie and I had the opportunity to open the restaurant in Chicago, Scott went up there. He relocated back to the homeland, went to Chicago for the life of that contract. I think he was up there for 4 or 5 years. And then we brought him back probably 2019, I guess it was, and he's been at Carson Kitchen ever since.
Yeah.
Manning the stoves there, and then gave him the opportunity to come, and he's just knocking it out of the park.
So where's he going to be spending most of his time these days?
He'll be here full time. I mean, he is the executive chef of Butcher and Thief, and come by and see him.
Okay, while we're talking about it, then who is running the show downtown?
So Lena Chavira has been with Carson Kitchen for almost since day one.
Yeah.
I hired Lena. Funny story. I hired Lena when she was fresh out of culinary school back in like 2002. When I was running the Nine Fine Irishmen at New York Hotel.
Oh, wow.
She was one of our cooks, and has just grown and matured so much over the years. She does a great job. She's, beyond being a good chef and kitchen manager, she's just a hell of a fucking cook.
Right.
And I still think that you have to be that to succeed in this business.
Yeah.
I know there's a lot of people out there that are good chefs and they manage really good numbers, but rarely do you find someone that does all of that and can still fucking cook her ass off.
And Carson Kitchen first of all, it was the first destination dinner restaurant in the Fremont East. There's no denying. Natalie Young may have had the first destination breakfast restaurant, but you guys were the first destination, and you really lent a lot of credibility to going down there. I know Carrie was friends with Tony Hsieh.
Yep.
I'm sure that had something to do with
What
it.
had everything. Yeah, absolutely everything to do with it. I mean, Tony wanted Carrie to do a restaurant badly. And Al, I don't know that I've ever shared this with you, and definitely not on the air, but the first time we went and toured the John E. Carson building to look at where the home of Carson Kitchen was going to be, they literally had to spray human feces off the door so that we could open the door to even walk in. I mean, it took a lot of vision, let's put it that way, both on Carrie's part and on Tony Hsieh's part. I would be lying if I said I was 100% on board with it from day one. It took me a little bit of time to fully understand what we could do there. But man, 11 and a half years later, listen, I'm incredibly proud of what we built, and you can't tell the story of food and beverage in Las Vegas without mentioning Carson Kitchen.
No, you absolutely have to talk about it. If you're coming to Las Vegas, you have to go. It's one of the OGs in the off-strip dining revolution that happened here at a certain period of time, and much mad props to Carrie Simon. When you guys opened that, it was carrying on, those who, short version, Carrie Simon worked for John George von Gericht and came out here, opened Prime Steakhouse of the Palms. He and Elizabeth Blau teamed up. They went over to Hard Rock.
Right?
It was all about gourmet comfort food. People make fun of Carrie Simon. Certain people who have other podcasts in this town used to make fun of Carrie Simon for wasting his time on comfort food.
Wasting his talent by serving meatloaf, I believe was one of the quotes that was said at one point. Yeah.
And a lot of people said that. And look, I'm going to be honest. It was rare for a chef of his stature to do comfort food, and now they all fucking do it. They all have something either on their menu or they have a side jam where it's, it's, hey, I got a Michelin-starred restaurant, but here's my little pizza place on the side or something like that, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, Carrie really, he took a little bit of shit for it, but he really set a trend.
He did. I mean, listen, there's so many things that our industry, I think, owes a debt of gratitude to Carrie Simon for. I mean, you look at his foresight in putting the the first table in the middle of the kitchen at the Edwardian Room at the Plaza Hotel back in the 90s, early 90s. He'd have a little Polaroid camera sitting back in the kitchen, and when some of his celebrity friends or VIP guests would come to that room, there's photos and like almost like a yearbook style memories of that table, and just an incredible story.
I had the chance to snap some pictures of that book before. I mean, obviously his family's in possession of it, so it still exists. But when I was writing recently on the anniversary of Carrie's death, I wrote a 4 or 5 part series about that. Long story, but I had pictures from that book.
Yeah.
I had the thing that David Bowie drew the night that he got engaged to
He
Iman.
proposed,
I was able to snap
that's
a picture
right.
of that, and of In Excess being back there, and I think of Debbie Harry being back there, and all kinds of people. So it was wild. But this is not a show about Carrie, but I can't not mention.
No, we can't. I mean, everything that we do today, and I think so much of my life, I owe great thanks to Carrie. I mean, my partnership with him, the things that he taught me, the things that he afforded me the ability to be able to do, changed the trajectory of my life. I will always be forever grateful.
So you took this comfort food idea, which is what Carrie brought, which he had done at other places, brought it downtown. Carson Kitchen crushed it. And you've then taken that to other cities. Carson Kitchen has succeeded where else?
Well, we opened in Atlanta first, but we've since sold that property off. It was too far away to oversee and to maintain culture. But we still have Carson Kitchen in Salt Lake City. Those are our 2 existing ones now. And then, of course, we just opened Butcher and Thief here 3 weeks ago. And then not too long ago, in September, my wife and I partnered up with a group down in Puerto Vallarta. We opened a little restaurant called Santa Coyote down in the Marina District in Vallarta.
Cool. What made you go steakhouse after having had so much success and I know this is a comforting steakhouse, but
Sure.
it is still a steakhouse as opposed to a comfort food restaurant.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's anything more quintessential American than the American steakhouse. I think it checks off so many boxes for every member of the family. So when they're making dining decisions, there's so many boxes that can be checked by choosing the steakhouse. And I thought that there was an opening, a void, if you will, a place in that segment of our industry that I could fill. I think that the number one missing ingredient over the last 20 years in the American steakhouse is value. I think that we've, and not anyone's particular fault, but beef prices are higher. The American cattle is at its lowest inventory in history. So that's driving prices even higher today. And so all of that is kind of ending up with the high-end steakhouses being unaffordable for the average diner on the average night out. They end up becoming these kind of celebratory restaurants or corporate card restaurants.
Yeah, corporate cards. I mean, that's the steakhouse. You want to impress a client,
Right.
And you want to spend a shit ton of money, but you don't want to make them seem foolish because they don't know French food. You
Right.
take them to a fucking
That's right.
steakhouse, and you
Makes everyone happy.
everybody's happy at that. It was missing value. I think a lot of it has to do with the quality of beef, though. I was at a Creekstone Farms seminar maybe about a year ago, and they were basically saying, you're not going to be able to get this cut anymore because it's being used by these people in this industry. But we have an alternative cut for you.
Yeah.
And, we want to use every part of the cow. This is still a delicious part. And I know a lot of people, that is a marketing problem, though. If you were going to have cuts of beef that people don't know.
Correct.
And remember, people, it's all, whatever cut of beef you like, that is great. That's the amount of fat that you enjoy in it. That's the amount of gristle. That's the tenderness. That's whether you gnaw a bone at the end of it. But it really comes down to the quality of the cow.
Sure.
And that's what separates everything. You could have a filet mignon at Outback Steakhouse, and it's not going to be anything at all like a filet mignon at a good restaurant.
Well, I'd say you're almost 100% correct. Yes, it's absolutely the quality of the beef, but it's also the quality of the cook. It's the quality of the technique that's going into the preparation of the beef. And that's where I think that we were able to make inroads into offering a lower priced product at Butcher and Thief for a similar or comparable product that you would get at a higher end steakhouse. Yes, we are bringing in what they call high choice. So we're one step below the prime meat, but it's the way we treat that high choice product that allows us to put a finished product on a plate that is every bit as comparable as that prime steak that you're paying twice as much for down the road.
Right. It's funny when people talk about grading of beef, right? Because like I remember we all learned about like A5 Wagyu, right? Like that's the best that Wagyu can be.
Right.
And then you realize some of that has to do with the yield. Like
Yeah.
it literally it has nothing to do with your
Correct.
eating experience.
That's
It's how
right.
many steaks you're getting off a fucking cow and things like that,
Yeah.
you know? So, I mean, there is a lot to be said for the grading, but you're right. Only what tiny percent of beef can be prime. And in most cities, every steakhouse doesn't have every steak as a prime steak. It makes it super fucking pricey to do that. If you got a city full of expense accounts, that's one thing.
Right.
But these other cows, I mean, Choice is one down, but there's a broad variety within Choice.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
If you speak to your suppliers, you can make sure that you get the best of those cows and that you can treat them in a way. And you also have to know how to handle beef, right? And
Yep.
it can be anything from aging to how you cut it down right here to how long you leave it and, you know, how many degrees it is.
Yeah, and we kind of developed a three-step process for all of our steaks. So we sous vide every steak that comes into the restaurant. We sous vide to 105 degrees. We have an 800 degree plancha that we then get a hard sear, really good crust on the outside of these steaks. We pull them off to rest, hit them with a little tallow butter, and then put them on a grill to get that char, that little bit of finish before we put them on a plate and send them out. And I think the end result, as you guys just taste, is a comparable product for a significantly less dollar.
Yeah, I'm very much liking the beef that I'm having. I'm not a big steak guy, so that's not my main thing. The pork that you're doing is really fucking, that's got a char on it that just feels like, it's like a campfire-y kind of dish to eat, man.
Yeah, I mean, listen, the pork has the apple butter glaze on that is just my favorite. I mean, it's that old pork chops or an applesauce kind of a vibe.
Yeah.
I don't think that, and next time you have that, we have a cabbage and leeks dish that carries some of those similar apple flavors that goes really well with the pork.
Okay. I'm trying to think. Don, questions?
Excuse me. You asked me earlier what I've enjoyed the most today.
Yeah.
I've really enjoyed the steaks.
Yeah.
And it's kind of noteworthy because I think, in the last few years, there have been so many steakhouses that have opened in Las Vegas. I mean, you could say this is a steakhouse capital of the world. But one thing I've noticed with my dining companions is, this is Las Vegas, so they have to present the show. So it's a steakhouse, but then they have to have incredible sides. They've got to make something table side. They have to have views, but then you know what? Then the steak ends up being a little bit disappointing. I can think of 5, I'm not going to name them obviously because I want to keep my job, but I can think of 5 steakhouses where like everything was great except for the steak. And we still paid a lot for it.
And that's really unfortunate. I think you hit the nail on the head when you were talking about the sides. I think a great steakhouse is all about sides and salads and desserts.
Yeah.
Because most guests just don't want you to fuck up their steak. Just season it right, cook it right, bring it out the right temperature, but then you wow me with everything else. There's little you can do to wow me with a steak anymore. I mean, they covered it in gold leaf at Poppy's and they bring it out to song and dance in a fucking marching band and charge you $1,100. And okay, great. We're not doing that.
And by the way, I'm in favor of that. There are people who come to
There's
Las
a
Vegas.
need for that. I agree.
You come to Las Vegas and you want to prove to your fucking high school friends that you're a bigger baller than they are.
That's right.
You won at the tables, they lost. You're going to go and you're going to buy a stupid, fucking, ridiculous goddamn thing that everybody's going to be talking about.
I'm with you. I'm all for it. And I think Vegas is probably one of the only cities you can actually pull that off in. And God bless them. I mean, if they can get $1,000 for a gold-studded fucking piece of cow, then good for them.
But you're here in the Bend, and it's a different vibe. And by the way, I know you've been wanting to work with Jay Dapper
for a long time.
Okay, I remember you described a chicken place. Is that the space that's now Jive Turkey? Was that the original space?
It is, yeah. So I was going to do there was an Asian place that I had created. John Courtney and I worked on this concept called Alley Cat.
Right.
And that's where that was going to go, where Jive Turkey is.
Yeah.
Good for them. Didn't work out for us. Timing wasn't right, but good for them. Jive Turkey's a hell of a bar.
It is great. And I was in there, and I'm like, Cory described this space to me 12 years
That's right.
ago.
Yeah, it's been a long time. So I've been trying to work with Jay forever. And I mean, even with this project, we signed this lease in 2019.
Yeah, the Bend has had coming soon signs up for a long time on the corner of Durango and, at the 215, really.
Yeah, Durango Sunset. Yeah.
So you've been thinking about this for a long time. It took forever to come together.
It did.
Anything happens, it opens slowly, it opens in phases. It's fucking rocking now.
It is. And you know what? I think there's a silver lining in everything. I mean, for it to be 6 years post signing of the lease, I think it's a better product 6 years later than it was going to be 6 years ago.
Right.
The tenants that are in here are better than what was going to be here. I mean, the fact that we've got a With Love Always that has a line down the fucking block for these burgers. I mean, we have Larry with Makeshift Union upstairs that was a downtown born and bred product, the hair salon that he moved out here to the burbs.
Don't get me started on Makeshift Union.
Yeah. Did he cut your hair?
No, first of all, they've done me right on many occasions, right? But I call them. You can't just call and make an appointment because everything over there. I mean, look at me, right? All you got to do is just shave the fucking sides, and that's it, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm on the phone. I'm like, I just need a trim. I need and they're like, okay, we'll give you our basic haircut. It comes with a wash and a dry and a style. I'm like, I do not want you washing my hair. You will never get it back up. I'm like, fuck that. I'm going to the politics barber shop around the corner.
But yeah, I mean, I love where we are. I mean, with Mothership Coffee, I think Union Biscuit does an amazing job. And the St. Felix that just opened up across the way, good cocktail bar, good menu, solid concept. The Great Greek, Freed's has a bakery outpost in here. I just think Jay did a really great job in creating and filling a void in what prior to the Durango and the Uncommons was the most underserved part of the valley.
Yeah.
And he's only added some other great amenities to the area.
I mean, yeah, it's getting very interesting because this area has blown up in the past 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
You guys are now a very serious addition to it. I love having a dessert shop because I don't know how late it's open, but I'm the kind of guy that never wants dessert at the restaurant. I always want to bring a little bit home. And
it tastes better at home, doesn't it?
Yeah, right. So
in your pajamas, on your couch.
Yeah, so I just dropped by Freed's on my way home. But that is a perfect segue, my friend, to dessert.
Yes.
Because you got 3 insane things out here. And
we do, yeah.
Picture. They're all here, and Don and I have not dug into them yet, which is the amount of restraint we have shown.
I'm pretty impressed. Don's been eyeballing this for about 10 minutes now.
I've had one cookie.
There you go. There you go. So we have 3 of our desserts. I think we have 5 on the menu right now. I brought 3 of them out today. We're starting with a Cherries Jubilee pound cake. So this is kind of a combination of a couple of my favorite things. I love the flavors of a great Cherries Jubilee. Love kind of that moist pound cake, butter cake kind of thing going on. And then we make a little sour cream ice cream on top just to kind of bring it all together. This is, I think, the world's greatest banana cream pie. We make a peanut butter caramel, and we top it, and the crust on the bottom is made out of Nutter Butters. So if you're a peanut butter and banana fan, this is an absolute home run for you.
And then this is something with roots. This big finale you brought out, this has got a history to it.
It does, yeah. So I couldn't open this place without a couple nods to Carrie. And this being one of them. This is the old classic junk food platter. Carrie debuted this at Simon at the Palms.
Yeah.
And it has cotton candy and caramel corn and house-made oatmeal pies and brownie bites and cereal
Rice Krispie
bars.
Treats.
That's right.
Yeah. I mean,
there's meringues. I even bring a cupcake over from Freed's. So we wanted to support one of our local businesses in here. And it's just a wonderful shared dessert that kind of satisfies everyone at the table. A little salty, a little sweet.
Yeah. Well, we're about to take a break to dine on that. But before we go, what are your hours?
Yep.
What is your price point?
Okay.
And do you do a happy hour?
So hours, we are open lunch and dinner. So we open every day at 11:30. And I emphasize that because not a lot of steakhouses. I think there's only 2 or 3 in all of Las Vegas. I know Delmonico's is open for lunch. I think Lowry's Prime Rib is open for lunch. And then, of course, we are. So, definitely open for lunch every day. We do have a designated lunch menu, has a few lunch specific items on it, but also allows you to enjoy the general regular steakhouse experience. So a lot of our steaks, our proteins, our fishes, our sides, all of that is on the lunch menu as well. Price point wise, all of our steaks range between $36 and $56.
And you would be hard pressed to find any steak at $56 on the strip. If you find one, it's going to be their entry-level steak.
It's a petite filet. It's like a 3-ounce filet somewhere. Yeah. No, I'm real proud of where we ended up price-wise. And as long as beef prices hold where they are, I think that we're going to be pretty consistent with that pricing and really bring just a value opportunity, not just from the beef perspective, but I do want to mention just quickly our wine. I think if we were going to tackle value in the steakhouse, we couldn't just do it on a beef side. We also had to do it on the wine side. So we worked with a couple wineries, made a little house red, a house white that we serve on draft, as well as an aggressively priced wine list. And so I think that there's an opportunity there for you to find value across the spectrum.
Okay, one last thing, happy hour.
Happy hour is coming soon. We are working on the happy hour menu right now. I will kind of tentatively say end of February when the weather turns and I can open that bar door up and we can be indoor, outdoor. We're going to have one of the best happy hours in Vegas.
Okay, awesome. Well, look, man, thanks so much for having us in. Thank you for hosting us. Thank you for feeding us. I've been having delicious food. Don and I are going to take a little break. We're going to eat the dessert. We're going to come back. We're going to be all sorts of full. I hope we can come back when the weather changes because the patios here are gorgeous and the indoor-outdoor bar and all that kind of stuff, but nobody's going to be doing that right now. So we don't have to talk
it's a little
about
chilly
it now.
out there. Al, thank you so much for coming down. I want to say I don't think I've ever said how much I appreciate, and Vegas as a whole should appreciate, your contributions to our industry over the years. From a writing perspective, and now what you're doing with Neon Feast, with this podcast, good for you, brother. Thank you.
Well, thanks a lot, man. You know, I've been lucky enough that people trust me to tell their stories, and I try to treat that with as much responsibility as I possibly can.
You do it well.
Thank you. Okay, so coming up, we've got a happy hour report and the news. This is Food and Loathing.
Need a restaurant recommendation? Then you need Neon Feast, the most convenient, most comprehensive, and most trustworthy collection of Las Vegas restaurant recommendations on the internet. Veteran food journalist Al Mancini, whom you might remember from, listening to this podcast, asked the city's top chefs, restaurateurs, critics, journalists, and influencers for their favorite spots in more than 100 categories. Why take the advice of an anonymous online wannabe or a paid influencer? Neon Feast will tell you where people in the industry send their family and friends for a great date night, to watch a big game, or get a taste of old Vegas. Looking for a great steakhouse? You want a great burger? Maybe a little caviar? Need a place in Summerlin South, the Arts District, or Seven Hills? Las Vegas brings the neon. Local foodies provide the feast at neonfeast.com or the Neon Feast mobile app.
Back once again with Andrew Morgan, and we are talking happy hours as we always do right after that center interview and before the news. Andrew, how the hell are you?
Happy New Year, my friend. How's it going?
It's going okay, man. It's going okay. Yeah, this is the first time we've seen each other since the ball dropped, right?
It's been a minute, but yeah, we're back at it. So.
Okay, well, I hope you had a fantastic drunken time on New Year's Eve and discovered some new bars.
You knew I did, of course.
Okay, so Happy Hour Vegas, man, you guys have about a bajillion happy hours, 500 and some. I always like to have you on to kind of try to focus these on a concept, right? So we're in January. For some people, dry January. Some people, not so much. What are you doing? What are the big happy hours for you right now that you're looking at?
So yeah, first of all, exactly, it's January, right? People are, let's get a little healthy on the agenda, dry January, all that stuff. That's not me. Like that. I'm going to be eating and drinking till I die, which could be sooner than later. But anyways, yeah, but I did figure, you know what? There is a 507 happy hours. There's got to be some that have some healthier alternatives on their menus and what they're serving. Turns out there is. So I actually created a category, healthy happy hours. You can find it at happyhourvegas.com. And I got a bunch of them here that I can share with you.
Okay, yeah, I want to know what a healthy happy hour is, man. I can't even imagine it because for me, happy hour has always meant drinking as much as you can before the prices go up. But what's a healthy happy hour?
Well, there is that, but you could have a mocktail, you could have a non-alcoholic beer, whatever it is. But at the same time, happy hour in itself kind of leads to a healthier kind of habits anyways. It's smaller portions, smaller plates. Now when you combine that with kind of healthier what's on the plate, what's in the glass, now, hey, your New Year's resolution's all right here.
Okay, give me an example, my friend. Where should people go?
So we have like Jinya Ramen, good example. You're thinking ramen, whatever, but they actually have 2 locations. One on Rainbow that I was at recently, a lychee teeny. So it's a little higher on the sugar side of it, but organic lychee juice, et cetera. So it's not too bad. But they have salmon poke tacos. They have a quinoa salad. These are like $5, So again, you're getting something a little healthier, something maybe you haven't tried, but also for $5, it's a good deal.
Yeah, and they have 2 locations in town. They are a chain, of course. I like their black garlic ramen myself, but they got a lot of good stuff there.
Yeah, that absolutely works. If you want another location, everyone knows True Food Kitchen. A lot of people don't know True Food actually has a happy hour. Both locations, Caesar's Palace on the Strip and the one up in Summerlin as well. So I'm the one at the Summerlin quite often, and they've got a great happy hour there. I mean, you can't really get anything that's not healthy at True Food Kitchen.
Yeah, you really have to work very hard to eat unhealthy at that joint.
Yeah, or you just have like a double shot of vodka in one of the cocktails, and that kind of does the trick. But buffalo cauliflower, $8. You got dumplings, Mediterranean hummus for a couple dollars off the regular price. I mean, these are all chili cuke crunchers. These are, great alternatives, healthy alternatives for your happy hour.
And what are the days and times on that?
They are weekdays, so Monday, Friday, 3 to 6 p.m.
Okay, great. You got one more, or are we good for this week?
There's a dozen of them. You can check it out on Happy Hour Vegas. One more that I'm kind of a fan of, went to recently, Lemon Tree Cafe, not too far from where we're at here in the Southwest.
Okay, now what I'm going to tell you about Lemon Tree Cafe is that my wife woke up New Year's Eve and decided that she wanted caviar for New Year's morning. So she went over to Lemon Tree Cafe. She got the very last 30 grams, I should say, that they had of caviar. And she made me some incredible eggs with caviar. So what else they got at Lemon Tree Cafe?
So, first of all, Sue, you've got great taste. Love you. That's awesome. But for the healthy thing, salmon burger with fries, $9. I mean, that's a pretty damn good healthy thing for you right there. So there's that. They got chicken tenders, chicken lollipops with chili garlic sauce. Boom, $13. That'll set you free for sure.
And they got a lot of gourmet ingredients in there. They've got good food in there. They've got good wine. Our friend Bordeaux Bob does wine tastings and things in there from time to time. It is a cool place to go for high-end stuff in a small, convenient deal that you don't have to navigate Whole Foods.
For sure. It's a whole market, too, so you can grab and go stuff as well. They have the pizza oven, $12 for pizzas, for personal pizzas, that you can get all your stuff on there, healthy stuff if you want. It's good.
Okay, well, thanks a lot. You can get more from Andrew Morgan at happyhourvegas.com anytime. Thanks for your time, Andrew. We'll see you back here next week.
You know it. Thanks, man.
And thank you, Andrew. And before we get to the news, man, Don, first of all, I'm on a sugar rush right now.
Me too.
I'm eating these, I thought they were Rice Krispie treats, but they really taste, they're Fruity Pebbles. I mean, I immediately flash back to Saturday morning cartoons, and it tastes like the cereal milk that you used to drink out of the bottom of the bowl, which was just coated in artificial color and flavoring and sugar, which I'm sure these are much better quality and healthier for you, but it brings you back, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the junk food platter, if anyone remembers that from Simon at Palm's Place. And, it's really bringing you back to that time. 2 of my favorite memories of being a food journalist here in Las Vegas for almost 20 years now involve Carrie Simon and Cory Harwell. 2 years after I moved here, I had my birthday brunch there. And one of my favorite memories is a photo with Carrie Simon and Robin Leach and the cotton candy.
Yeah.
So, this is making me a little misty-eyed. And then just so happy to have The Butcher and Thief in town and Cory's still in town because I love Carson Kitchen as well. I honestly would not be mad at having crispy chicken skins buried with me.
That is a great appetizer over there, man, from day one. Jesus, all of this, man, that sour cream ice cream on the cherry thing, it just works really to cut through the sugar rush that we're having. That, you know, that sour cream definitely does the job there. And what do we got over here? I don't even remember. It was just so fucking good. The banana cream pie. It's all sorts of like crazy and
delicious,
crumbles and oh man, really, really good. So thank you everybody for that. This has been fantastic. Now on to the news. Another restaurant here in the Bend complex is St. Felix, Las Vegas, or I think it's St. Felix, Sin City, I should be saying, right next door, and actually right across the little. Yeah, it's fucking close. You can see it. That's all you need to know. You look at the door, you fucking see it, okay? So I popped my head in a few times over there. It looked a lot like vibe dining or a lounge with the food, a place for people who are younger and better looking than me to interact with other such folks. Based on that, I've said that in the show, and I've always couched it as a guess because I don't really know. What the fuck do I know about a place in which I've never actually dined? So rather than speculate, I dropped by earlier today to speak with partner John Arakaki, and he gave me the real scoop on the place.
I spent a lot of blood, sweat, and tears just putting everything I could to design this. I don't have a design background, but I've been getting a lot of compliments on it. You know, I've done lifestyle marketing when I first moved to California. I was also a touring musician, so I took a lot of inspirations. It's funny because, you know, I played the double down here in front of 30 people at 1 a.m, but I've also been to high-end places. So taking inspiration, I find beauty in any sort of venue, bar, restaurant, architecture, and I tried to take that into what I thought would work here that would represent our brand, St. Felix.
Okay, so it's hard for me to sort of describe what I'm seeing in here, but I'll give you first impressions, and this is from a guy who has no design background, but has been describing restaurant interiors for 25 fucking years of my life, right? So to me, this kind of has that sexy bordello, something a little shady, but on the high-end side, might be going on somewhere, you know. It is chic, it is hip, it is sexy. It feels far too young for a guy like me to be in here, but this seems like a place where beautiful, cool people come to meet other beautiful, cool people. How close am I?
You are close, but I will say that, you know, our demographic is so all over the place. We'll appeal to a teen. We'll appeal to 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s. In our Hollywood location, we've hosted 70th, 80th birthdays recently. I would say that I think there's a timeless appeal here. And it's probably walking in here during the day till you come in at night. I do a playlist that I curate with my music background on the programming. I try to make everybody happy. I kind of take the Quincy Jones approach that there's so many notes that kind of make a hit song happen. And I want to touch everyone to make them comfortable in this environment. So that's very important to me, that the oral sense is there, the culinary sense is there, the cocktail culture is there. I just want the experience to be very uplifting and an escape from, you know, society and everybody's, you know, day to day. And this is a place you can come and hang. And as far as like the sexy appeal to it, we want it warm. We host a lot of first dates, but then we host a lot of baby showers. We just got some inquiries here in Las Vegas about that. I think we pivot to so many different things. It's really hard to truly define it. We want St. Felix to be kind of a blank canvas for you to define it. Yes, it has that warm, sexy approach, but it also has a little more of a broad appeal in some other ways. It really depends. We really don't try to be so defined. We like to be a creative space with award-winning bar and food culture. And I think that's very important for us to be a little bit more unique. And I think because we don't have those boundaries, and I come from like more of a rock and roll kind of vibe, it's like, what's next? Let's pivot. Let's keep our base, but let's kind of get creative and do something different. So, you know.
Okay, so if you were kind of to triangulate in on what you're trying to accomplish here, we've got restaurant, place where people come, they sit down, they order their appetizer, their entree, their dessert, they have a first date, they leave. Then we've got lounges, kind of ultra loungy or chic kind of joints. Then there's the bottle service club, right? Then that is the place where you come to hold court and you want to spend a ton of money and you want to show off how much you're buying, right? So are you the chic ultra lounge? Are you the sit-down dinner spot? Are you the club where you do the bottle service scene?
We're all of the above, believe it or not. So when we started St. Felix, in West Hollywood, we wanted to appeal to like successful business people so that they can come in and wind after happy hour. But then we also were young creatives and musicians and artists ourselves. So we even do that on the scale for our menu. So we have some items that are extremely affordable, and then we have the baller items. So I think that, you can come in here for an after work office, into a girls' night, into just friends getting together, an intimate date night in the booths, which we've had a lot of success. And the age range in our first experience here in Vegas, it's so wild. It goes from early 20s to late 60s right now. And we're really proud of that appeal. So yeah, doing that sort of, sorry, I'm fucking up.
Yeah, so mixing up all those things, that kind of comes as, you want to be something for everybody on that front?
Yeah, appealing to the happy hour crowd, then we can go into dinner, and then we can go into cocktail culture. And we do have DJ services available, and we're going to be expanding into the nightlife. Coming to Las Vegas, I always found this to be really the Wild West. And I think because of the pandemic and other transgressions that have happened just, in the country, and I think getting back to that nightlife angle and having it open later and having a quality experience later, it seems like there's more closures and this and that. And I think as we get our footing, we're going to expand that footprint into nightlife. But right now, we're getting a lot of the happy hour, private parties, business bookings, intimate dinners, friends just coming and hang out. We had a game night here. And in our Hollywood, we're doing like emo chess night. I have Dungeons and Dragons. I have view parties. So we're really excited as a creative space to expand that. So I think that we are going to check all the boxes.
Okay, so this is a podcast primarily about food, although I am sitting here at the bar. So I want to say, if I walked in and I looked at your bar, I drink very, very rarely. I try to drink things that are only good when I do have one. And I see some whiskeys that I'd be happy with up there. What's your price range on, for example, just pour me a whiskey?
Well, we have a really higher end craft well. I don't like to call it a well because we serve some spirits that we have a really great relationship with the Jack Daniels family and Brown-Forman. So we get their spirits at a very good rate, and we have had that relationship for 17 years. So we are able to kind of do some more price, competitive things that are premium items, but a quality experience. Our main driver, honestly, is our signature drink program. I designed it 17 years ago with a lot of top mixologists back in the day, and I took a lot of care to it. I wanted it accessible. I wanted it crafty. I wanted it done in 3 to 5 steps. I don't want people waiting a half an hour for a cocktail. I don't want to be pretentious. I want to be crafty, fresh juices, fresh ingredients, but accessible. So I think that's our driver. But anywhere.
So what's a cocktail? Because you go out to the Strip and a cocktail's going to cost me $20-$25, right?
Yeah, we're going anywhere from 14 to 17, 18. We're new to the market. We're getting a lot of feedback, but I think we're definitely below the Strip. But we do use fresh fruit juice. We use premium ingredients. We use premium call. And I think people are a little shocked because we take a culinary aspect to those cocktails. People are like, oh my God, I can taste the rosemary. I can't even really taste the gin, and there's gin in there. I'm like, yeah, it's 2 ounces of Martin Miller London Dry, and we're the top London Miller account in California. We hope to be that in Nevada. I think it's that care from our culinary experience, but I'm doing it also in our craft cocktail experience, and it's showing.
So let's talk about the menu for food. What kind of a restaurant is this, I guess? There's a nice open-ended question for you.
I call it California cuisine because we take inspirations. Obviously, there's some bases that we're going to cover. Like, we're going to have a great hamburger. We're going to have some great vegan and vegetarian options. But we have a sampler platter that I've reintroduced, and it just really took off post-pandemic. It's a little bit of everything we do. We have our American Wagyu sliders with our brioche buns done from Bread Bar. We've had a relationship with them for 17 years, and they're an LA-based bakery. We have our Malaysian-style steak skewers. All our sauces are house-made. You taste the difference. People are just amazed by our chipotle aioli sauce. Our chef, who's been with us for 17 years, came over from Los Angeles, and he's here because his family's here. And we're producing the same thing we did in 2008, 2011. To this date, there's been no loss in food quality. One of the things I'm very happy about our culinary experience is that most of our staff stayed through the pandemic through us because we really rallied around our kitchen staff. And it's more of a family effort, and you can taste that in the ingredients. We have a braised beef with goat cheese mashed potatoes that people are just saying that's the best braised beef we've ever had. I just don't believe in doing anything at a very low level. Everything has to be exceptional. Like, I'm not a huge vegan person, but I said, listen, if we're gonna make vegan items like the vegan platter, like the quinoa bowl, I'm gonna do it at a high level to where I'm a meat eater. But you know what? I love the quinoa. I have veggie tacos, but I think I like them better than our regular tacos. And that's how we kind of approach that aspect. You know, my father's from Peru, so we do a Peruvian ceviche. So I'm mixing in a little bit of influences from other elements that we can bring in. Our chef also worked in a Cajun restaurant, so we have a Chipotle Cajun shrimp pasta. It's comfort food, it's elevated, it's got a little hook. We also have a blackened chicken fettuccine, and when they approached me about this dish, I was like, I don't think that's gonna work. It's gonna be the greatest thing or terrible. And I couldn't believe it. So when you have that kind of originality and kind of infusion of things, I think that's my experience being from California. Also, you know, my father being from Peru and, you know, traveling and all those things. I like to pick things that are going to work for the St. Felix market. And we'll try something. And if, you know, the public doesn't like it, well, we'll special it out, you know. So I think we've really built a solid foundation, and we'll try to do some things to experiment to raise the bar.
Cool. Well, look, man, thanks a lot. I know this is kind of a little short interview. I'd love maybe in a month or so we come back, we set up, we eat some food, we do an entire episode in here. But congratulations on opening, man. The Bend is really happening right now. There's so much going on, and you guys are clearly a big part of it.
Well, we're really fortunate to be in this area in the Southwest. It's growing and emerging. It's great to have a legend like you just researching this, and having your time here is just really special. So we really appreciate the support from the community that we've gotten, and we can't wait to meet additional people and introduce them to St. Felix.
And if you read any of my year-end stories, including the 3-part series I just wrote for Las Vegas Advisor, you know that Durango Social Club is one of my favorite restaurants. Don, you just said it's one of your favorite restaurants to open the year. I love Chef Tyler Vorce. We've spoken all about that. His residency is known as Lilli. Well, Lilli just announced, and this is Chef Tyler Vorce doing a residency called Lilli within Durango Social Club, just so you could arrange that in your fucking heads right now. So anyway, Lilli just announced a special black truffle and caviar dinner for Valentine's Day. It's 7 courses. It's $179 plus tax and tip. Very intimate experience if you want to do something really romantic. So oh man, look. I don't know, man. I got so much delicious food in front of me. I think I'm going to choke on it. I'm eating so much. Anyway, immediately after recording this session, I'm going to head over there. I'm going to speak to Chef Tyler about it. We're going to drop that interview in right now.
Yeah, so we got a super special, intimate Valentine's Day dinner that we're hosting at Lilli, featuring beautiful black truffles that we're sourcing from Chareunsy, Spain, and some lovely white sturgeon caviar, amongst a whole bunch of really nice seasonal products, too.
Tell me, what are some of the dishes going to be, or have you not set the menu yet?
No, honestly, we started writing the menu a little while ago. So I've got some friends out in Maine. They raise beautiful in-the-shell bay scallops, so we're going to get those in, hand-harvested. We got some really nice lamb coming from Don Watson over in California that we're going to be featuring, as well as a really nice seasonal chestnut porridge with oats and pumpkin and black truffles.
That sounds great. Remind me again what the price is.
So it's $179.
And where can people get a reservation?
So you can check us out on Resi. We're at Lilli Las Vegas on Resi, or go to lilli.vegas.
Big Sir Oyster Bar has announced some specials for the new year down in the old South Point Casino. They're calling them What the Shuck Lunch Specials, and they're going to feature some of the restaurant's most popular dishes, starting at $9.99 until 4 p.m. daily. I sat down with executive chef Darren Walters to talk about those specials.
Well, what the Shook is a specials that we roll out for lunch from 11 to 12, half price to oysters, and then we've got 6 items that we run from $10 up to $17, which is specials. So we have a great salad, we have a poor boy sandwich, and we have a red snapper punch chain, which is on the menu too. And then we got some other items you can come into, including our regular menu too.
You said until 12. Is that the oysters or is that the whole special? Because I thought I had seen 4 o'clock as a cutoff.
Oh, sorry, till 4. 11 to 4.
Okay, great. So what's your favorite on this and how much will it set people back?
Well, if you're coming in for a party or two and you get some half-priced oysters and then you get the salad, then you're looking at about $20 per person, which is a great value. When we create ourselves with value here. So, you know, it's a good value to come in, quick lunch, in, out, go back to work, go back, do whatever you're doing, or even go and hit the slots here.
And one of Las Vegas's best sandwich shops, according to Neon Feast and to Al Mancini, is Gu Plus, Japanese sandos. They also have good fancy food in the back, but they're fantastic in Chinatown. They're now opening a new location right down the street from where I am sitting. It's going to be at 8480 West Sunset. So I believe it's Sunset in Durango. I believe it's over in the spot that used to be home to Barbecue Mexicana. Their official grand opening party is this Saturday, January 10th at 11 a.m. They're going to have ribbon cutting, a dragon dance. They're going to have a DJ, live DJ. I wrote love DJ, but it's actually a live DJ. But you will love their DJ. The first 10 guests will get free egg sandos for a year. They're also going to be giving away a lot more egg sandos that day for about 100 people, a bunch of other merch, gift certificates, and goodies. Go down there, say hi to my friends Louis and Freddie. I may be there, actually, so say hi to me as well. And that is about it for this week. Remember, you can read more dining news, including Bob Barnes' weekly dining and entertainment update at foodandloathing.com. This week, Bob has info on a VIK Wines tasting event at Fogo de Show, a pasta making workshop at Bottiglia Cucina and Enoteca, the return of the party brunch at Rouge Room, and a new midweek pre-fee menu at Andiamo. Also, his pick of the week this week, that's when he sits down and goes really deep. That is Hawthorne Grill. I love Hawthorne Grill. I love the chef over there. So that is a good reason to always tune into Bob Barnes and check him out over at foodandloathing.com. Yeah, is that where we are? Foodandloathing.com. .Vegas. Foodandloathing.Vegas. That's what
it's changed a few times, so I'm not even sure.
I know, man. I'm fucking keeping the lawyers at bay. I got to keep changing shit. Anyway, Don, before I go into the other things I'm doing, any big story you got up that people should go over there and read?
Well, I'll say that. I mean, you know this. Our job to eat and drink is never done.
No.
It's a new year, and I can tell you my to-do list right now. Includes Kairu Ramen in Henderson, Milk Bread in Chinatown,
nice.
St. Felix, you've mentioned that, Hayworth in Henderson, Gymkhana at Aria, and then Chubby World in Chinatown. So there's a lot of new things
and
in the new year.
You're going to share your thoughts on all of those over at vegaspublicity.com, correct?
Absolutely.
Okay. Where else can you find the rest of us? If you're driving on the roads into and out of Las Vegas, hear me with my Neon Feast foodie updates on Highway Vibe Radio, Highway Country, and KNAC, which was formerly Highway Rock. Andrew Morgan and I both have new columns over at LasVegasAdvisor.com. Mine is a 3-parter. Go check it out. If you want, and that was it, Don. You know, like, I was not going to write a trend story or any of that shit. I don't like to do my year-end best-ofs. It's not my thing. And I was on CityCast, and they said something like, oh, fill in the blank. Las Vegas the dining scene in 2025 was blank, and I had to really think about it. So after giving them my answer, I went back and I thought about it, and I really thought there are 3 completely different dining scenes, all of which were interesting stories. One of which was what happened on the Strip, which was money, 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 money. The money places that opened were the big stories all year round. Then there was what's happening in the neighborhoods. And, you know, we've got a lot more neighborhoods to talk about. And the Bend's a big thing that's going on, the Fremont East. So we talk about the neighborhoods, how they're changing up. And then part 3 is how off-strip casinos have really stepped up their dining programs recently. So you can read all of that from me over at LasVegasAdvisor.com. If you want restaurant recommendations in over 100 categories by people who really know food, check out NeonFeast.com or download the Neon Feast app. And if you want to find a great happy hour near you, go to happy happyhourvegas.com. We'd already talked. Don is over at vegaspublicity.com. Thank you, Don, for coming in and being my co-host today. I very much appreciate it.
Anytime.
Thanks to the entire team that hosted us here at Butcher and Thief. These are incredible people. I've enjoyed many of their food and their service at Carson Kitchen for years. Everybody's great. So thank you all for having us, especially Cory Harwell. Thanks for my guests this week. We got Tyler Vorce, we got Darren Walters, we got John Arakaki. On behalf of all of them and our absent co-host Gemini Stevens and the man on the back end of all of this who makes it all happen, Rich Johnson, I'm Al Mancini, hoping that you always manage to stay hungry.